All right, Gianni Storm. What's going on?
Okay, guys, what WTF? China has a pornography mind reading device now.
What?
So, so research created a device that can tell when men are watching porn. So this is a move to eventually ban all porn consumption. And this device called the Porn Helmet Police basically is able to detect brainwaves that are triggered when you're exposed to sexual content. So, my question to you is what would your reaction to be if our country or Rob's country banned?
The Americas? What's
What would you
If they banned porn, or if they created some mind reading device? Which one?
know? The that was a good, that's a good one too. I want to get your thoughts on the mind reading device as well. But more importantly, right now, the what if your country banned all porn or all sexual content? Like even with our music videos, they can get a little bit raunchy. So, what would you guys? How would you guys feel about that?
Robbie, what do you think?
You put
it
it.
would I mean, it would make for I guess, a cleaner society, if you will, because we know that addiction to pornography is a real thing and it really messes with people's brains. So, in that
Wait,
respect,
can you
absolutely.
elaborate
I
on
think if
that?
there were, um, I, it alters the way that you think. It changes how you perceive sexuality. It because it's a dopamine release that's based off of a visual trigger. So some people come to really rely on it, and that's where the addiction is built up. And I mean, there's nothing real about delivering pizza and pornography, right? Let's be real about this. There's nothing real about it. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think that it would be a good thing. People who would want it would produce maybe their own home videos at their risk. But what happens behind your doors? I don't give a shit. But if they
Yeah.
were really serious about it, Johnny, what you can out you couldn't really outlaw pornography. I think it'd be very difficult because there's so much money there, and we know that industries that generate a lot of money can do whatever they want. Look at oil, right? But if you wanted to put a real dent in pornography, you block it at the internet service provider level. You make it an extra option that requires the account holder to unlock that feature. You have to
Okay.
deliberately unlock it, like adult channels. So, I could just imagine the conversation. Honey, could you please explain how there is porn on our internet? Oh, shit. Because somebody has to greenlight it at the onset. If you do that, how many people are going to step up and say, "Hey, yeah, turn on the pornography on my," if your spouse isn't okay with it?
So, Robbie,
There's
I gotta admit,
ingenious ways to do it.
I am surprised. I did not expect you to say that you wanted porn to be banned. I'm really surprised.
I,
It's not a, I mean, there are people who enter it consensually, but at the
Mhm.
end of the day, you never hear about a happy porn star in their twilight years. You hear about a lot of suicides. You hear about a lot of overdoses. You hear about people just disappearing. Hear about people becoming just shriveled husks of what they used to be because of the drug abuse, because of the emotional and psychological trauma they've endured. Stormy Daniels, exception to the rule. I've seen her in interviews. That woman is brilliant, brilliant.
What
But
what
I'm just
about what about like places
general.
like OnlyFans where they're taking control of like they're taking control of what they do with their bodies. I mean, these are women who just they're
like
not.
home.
Yeah.
Seemingly so, Neo. Seemingly so. You think that it's consensual.
I mean,
You think
some
that it's
That's
cases I'm sure
consensual.
it's not. I'm certain in many cases it's
So
not. But
there you
some
but
go.
cases.
but you're saying ban it, right? So you're saying you're okay with banning it altogether, and that's to
Maybe.
prevent. I mean, I agree with Jacqueline Robinson what she says here. Please don't give lawmakers any more ideas giving out loss of personal
Mm,
protections. I mean,
yeah.
banning it is a stretch. I mean, making it more difficult to get maybe, or I mean, I don't know.
So
I'm not a fan of
maybe
banning
you
it.
can, but maybe you can rhyme off a couple of positive aspects of the porn industry for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
in society, in
sure.
But
society.
for
Tell me,
Well, I was leaning. Okay, so I was leaning towards the fact that, of course, you know, women have the ability to sell. Men, women, whoever wants to sell sex to someone who um, wants to buy it. They can. I mean, you have the freedoms of like uh, OnlyFans and the porn sites, and it's safe because they're able to do it in their own homes. They're able to do whatever they need to do. I mean, they have, and they're. I mean, yeah, they're making a living off of entertainment. I mean, whatever that entertainment is. I mean, there's pros and cons to everything, and
there,
I just have a concern. I don't have a concern with limiting it, and I understand the negatives of it. I have a problem with banning it altogether. That's where my problem lies. Is like we have to have some freedoms. I mean, I don't know about banning it.
it's just an industry that's very difficult where that line gets blurred so easily.
It can, it can. I mean, but that's with anything. It can get blurred easily with just about anything. I mean, Johnny, what are your thoughts? You're the female here.
oh, what, okay. So how would I react to banning porn? I think that I wouldn't like it because I think that so many thoughts running through my head, but because with porn is there's so many different avenues. I feel like yes, freedom of expression. People make a living off of the sex industry, women and men. More women do. And I feel like to ban something means that, like Neo said a little bit, it's taking away your protections or rights. And I also do agree with Rob that it would make things cleaner, and like kids who are just on the internet, if porn was banned and there was no porn at all on the internet, then I would like that a little bit more for my little sister or
I
my,
think there need to be
even though
more controls. No doubt.
they're gonna even watch other,
Controls are only
like,
good if they're enforced, Neil. How many senseless gun deaths do we see in the US despite controls being in place? If you make it available, if you make it accessible, and that's it. I mean, if it's your jam,
But
great.
ain't
I
no.
mean, create your own homemade content.
I mean,
create your,
But
I
the
mean,
minute that it's an
what if
industry
what
that can absolutely prey. It's an industry that does prey upon young women.
it does?
There are
I
some
just.
that enter it very consensually and do their thing, but it is an industry that very historically preys upon young women.
I mean, but historically, for example, the music industry preyed on people and stole musicians' money. Um, that's been the case, but that has changed with education over time. And certainly, more educated people over time can make sure that they are not preyed upon and that they can control their bodies, their lives, and things like that. I'm not saying I'm a fan. I do think there need definitely be more controls on the internet, especially for children. Um,
Yeah.
because I was reading that Billie Eilish said that she consumed a lot of porn and she wishes she
Yeah,
hadn't as a child. Um,
because
Wow.
it's available, it's
right. It's
accessible. A
so
lot of
easily
kids
available.
are consuming it because it's just so. Are you 18? Hell yes, I am. No, you're not. You don't understand the implications of what you just clicked. You have no
Yeah.
idea the implications. And
Okay.
let's talk about the technology just for a second. So I believe that the research team was able to record and study the brain impulse of the 15 test subjects. But in order
Yeah.
for them to detect whether or not you're watching porn, you have to be wearing the helmet. So if you're wearing
Yes.
the helmet, that's a pretty good indicator that you shouldn't be surfing any porn because people are going to know. So,
I
if
mean,
everyone's outfitted with this helmet, sure. But I mean,
I was
eh,
confused by the strategy too. I'm like, how is that really gonna get people behind bars for this whole porn thing? Like,
ooh,
it would be,
I'm sorry. I'm seeing some
uh,
comments online. I'm seeing some comments online, and I'm like, okay, let's get to some of these comments online. Uh, Mike Winter says, "Let people do whatever they want to do. Stay out of people's bedrooms." I'm with you, Mike. We agree on something. Jacqueline Robinson, porn is indeed appalling. However, is proportional. What China's government is proportional get there is a slippery slope. Uh, Mike Wolf, banning porn would have the same result as we've had with banning drugs. You can still get them. It doesn't solve any of the problems. It just makes it more dangerous for people involved in it. And that's a great point a counterpoint to your point, Rob, is that the reason that they were easily preyed upon in the past and taken advantage of is because a lot of much of it, even though porn was not illegal, things like prostitution, you know, uh, selling sex and uh, going online for sex has been illegal, and so
It is different in the sense that it's a media industry. It's something that is broadcast. It's something that's available for consumption, and it can be limited. It can be controlled. Like I was saying, if it's something that you have to request specifically, then that would force a lot of conversations in a lot of households. And if it shows up, then there's hell to pay
yeah,
because
I
somebody's lying about something.
I agree. Banning it doesn't solve anything though, because it's going to be it's going to be able to be consumed regardless. It's been shoot, porn has been around for centuries, decades, millennia, shoot, even. So it's not that's not we're not going to be able to ban that um, effectively. It's just going to be we're just going to be putting people in jail and making it harder. I like his point that it's going to be more dangerous for people involved in porn. Um, let's see, Mike Winter says government doesn't need to tell people what to do. Parents need to raise their kids. Mike Will says it can't be controlled, Rob. Uh, have you heard of the internet?
But that's where the controls need to be
Yeah,
at the internet level. It shouldn't be distributed. It shouldn't be accessible to you unless you've greenlighted it as a citizen, where you've said yes,
yeah,
greenlight me for pornography.
Maybe
And you know what? Then maybe we'll have a registry of these people, so you can say, you know what? No, maybe that's not someone I want to date.
yeah.
No, this person's going. Hey, do you watch porn? No, I don't. You're on the registry.
As far
Someone's
as
lying.
this nonsense with this mind reading device,
All right.
like really, that's really is it gonna? It's not. That's not gonna work. A mind reading device thing is not gonna work. It's nonsense, and I'm sure it's not
Yeah.
really effective.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Oh my
effective.
I mean,
gosh.
it's more effective just to track what they're doing online. I mean, come on. I mean,
It's more effective to give you the helmet and tell you that it tracks you if you're watching porn.
right.
It doesn't even have to do anything. It just needs to have a couple of flashing LEDs. It's like, no, that's the anti-porn helmet. It's done.
All right. Last comment, and it's a perfect segue into our next topic. But uh, Jack and Rom says, we're all too young to remember the well-intentioned amendment banning alcohol and how disastrous that was. Ultimately, it was repealed because the ban actually led to more crime, including bootlegging, mob violence, and murders. So yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like our audience doesn't agree too much with Robbie's. this. But that's good. Great conversation. I enjoyed it. All right. Let's